Time is now for some more TVT. As we've seen a lot so far in this series, it has been a lot of rushing, especially in the first and third series. So anytime there's a Terran, it just seems like, well, let's go ahead and rush. Anyways, up in the top left side, it is going to be Empire.Beastyqt, currently down 0-1, and I gotta say, Sting able to get that momentum up. Can he do it again in game number 2? Is he going to do Teja style, where he just keeps rushing until he eventually can't rush anymore? Or is he going to play standard from here on out? He is going to have the mental advantage moving forward, not only with the win, but also anytime you get a build like that, your opponent's scared of the follow-up, and your opponent also doesn't know how well you're playing in the macro phase. So taking map number 1, always a huge, huge importance. And anyways, down the bottom right side, it's going to be the man I've been talking about, Mr. Sting.
And in the top left, interestingly, building his supply depot behind his mineral line, it's going to be Beastyqt. Almost always, if you're early expanding, you do build that supply depot at the ramp. And we got the read from game number 1. Beastyqt likes to do that, but I mean, I'm unsure what Beastyqt plans to do. The only thing that really makes sense, I guess, would be if he does some sort of faster tech-ish play, maybe goes for the refinery first. No, indeed, it looks like he is going to be going command center first, right out the gate.
And given that they are at cross spawns, it looks like this could be successful. As we were shown in the previous game, it is not going to be that there is going to, I mean, the spawns will not be the close spawn, but definitely not going to be, basically he can spawn at the top or the top right. That's what I'm trying to say. But it does look like right now, with the barracks going down, that can he actually put on a lot of pressure here with just a single barracks, or is Beastie going to be feeling pretty good?
It's pretty uncommon to really do too much with just a single Marine at the start of the game. Most often, I'd imagine Sting is going to be building one Marine and then a command center of his own, and he kind of doesn't want to go Marine, oh my god, you're early expanding, let me make Marines, because that really messes up some of the supply depot timing, so it should be coming up pretty shortly. In the meantime, it looks like Beastyqt is being a little bold. He hasn't built his second barracks yet.
And that's something that he's going to absolutely have to do here. Down it goes right as Day9 is going to mention it. But it does look like right now Sting going to be dropping his command center down as well. And has he made that many Marines at all? Just the one singular Marine right here. He is a hero. Not sure actually where that Marine ended up here. He is now going to be scouting the top left side, seeing exactly what's going to go on. Oh, there he was. He was scouting around for any sort of proxies, doing good work. Unlike that first Marine we saw before, who was busy shooting a neutral supply depot instead of scouting out and denying the scouting. But it does look like right now the SCV, I don't believe, was able to get in there at all. Nope, only seeing the entrance and the expand, but really what else is there to see at this point?
So at this point in time, Beastyqt does have his second barracks finishing up. He is going for the double orbital command, and Sting is doing kind of the more old school classic, getting a whole bunch of barracks up at the start. We haven't really gotten the chance to see too much of that because players love just double gassing and going instantly for that factory. Beastyqt is almost committed to getting 2 barracks up at the start just so he can deal with a variety of early rushes. You'll die if you just try to do one, but we still haven't seen anything out of Beastyqt, so I'd imagine a third command center is probably coming up.
And Sting right now is up that 4 barracks mark.
Oh, that sneaky sly raccoon. Oh, look at him. No way. Oh, that's so dastardly. Do you think this will work?
You know, Day9, every time I see this, it makes me really nervous. In TVT, I feel like it's going to have the highest success rate because there's not a lot of quick units that are going to be scouting around the map. Usually TVT is all about slow pushes, and even if you are going for Marine Marauder drops, I mean, it still takes a while for that to actually happen, and the chance of the drop actually going at this angle down to that bottom left side expand is very slim. So I have seen this work on this map.
Now look in the main base of Sting. Sting actually built 4 barracks total. He is going for an aggressive 5 barracks total. Excuse me. He is going for a big aggressive play, and there's a confrontation in the middle, and that is going to go very far in Sting's favor. Where is the bunker? Beastyqt is going to be in excellent shape so long as he builds 2 bunkers right away. What is he doing? He needs to get the 2 bunkers up. If he does that, then this is going to be perfect for Beastyqt. He's going to get the exact edge he needs, but it's a full minute until that bunker's done.
And you got to remember that the SCV also got delayed there by 3 or 4 seconds by those marching Marines. So if this attack hits before a bunker completes, that is going to be why. But the bunker looks like it's about halfway done. Sting is not going to be able to march up that ramp just yet. Sting is supply blocked here And that's only going to be for a little bit, but it did indeed delay a lot of those Marines, and especially if you're going this many Marines, you are going to need those. Now remember, as a Terran player, you don't really have something that can out-micro your opponent's Marines. It's not like it's in TVP, where the Stalkers can out-micro them for a long time. The one bunker is done, but I feel like Beasty really needs to get to that watchtower, see how many Marines there are, try and figure out what's going on. However, Sting is keeping just enough units that if he scouts the main base, he sees, okay, this is his army. If he scouts the tower, he thinks, okay, this is his army. What he needs to do is be able to scout both of these, and if he's unable to, it's going to be a world of hurt for him, and especially since Beasty has this third command center up. That's 3 SCVs at a time as opposed to a lot of units, but he does have 3 barracks, but only the 1 bunker.
Now, I do like that Beastyqt is essentially saying, hey, if I'm hiding in an early third base, I am going to try to go big macro mode. Everything that Beastyqt is doing is right in line with that, getting the super early upgrades, getting the combat shield first. He has no attack intention coming soon, but this push will be very difficult for him to hold off. He is going to target fire the bunker, and it looks like the bunker is going to be enough, barely, but Beastyqt will probably end up even throwing down bunker number 2 just in case.
Yeah, he definitely should after seeing that many Marines, but he might also be saying, well, it's going to put me behind of where I want to be as far as my economy, and that totally rhymed and was sweet, but we do have a factory on the way, and we do have the 1-1 on the way as well. So you mentioned that big macro mode. I mean, that's about as macro heavy as you can get, still making 3 SCVs at a time. The amount of workers he has is actually disgusting. Over 10 at the 8-minute mark is so difficult to do in TVT, especially with his opponent taking a what would be considered a relatively early third, but this is no standard game by any means. Here comes the attack by Sting. He's going right at the Ramcat, trying to bunker.
Sting.
Where are the SCVs? They're nowhere in sight.
So bad for Sting. Oh, it does manage to take it.
He may have held off long enough, though. He is going to crush these Marines and push them on back home.
Oh, gosh.
Double the amount of resources lost in that engagement, and also day 9. He's got a third base.
Yeah, you know, the combat shield upgrade, if I were Sting and went up there and saw combat shield Marines, I would instantly and try to peace out. But Sting thought that with his 5 barracks up so early, he'd have the edge. But this is the issue that we see Sting doing in this matchup again and again and again, just not quite having the best judgment with some of these situations. You don't have to break through. You can keep all your Marines alive and rely on your comfortable, safe, defended third base. But Sting now is behind on units, he's behind on economy, and in my eyes, once the 2-2's done for Beastyqt, he's just going to have way too many Marine medevac for the opponent to handle.
Needs to make sure not to mess up here moving forward, is adding on more barracks. The starport does have those medevacs on the way 2 at a time, and this is nice for him because he doesn't have to make Vikings right now because he's way, way ahead in the timing, and at some point he can also get that air superiority if he wants it. But I think right now, focusing still on macroing his third base, he's dropped every single mule in the last couple of minutes down at that expansion. That's a great thing. That's one thing to remember. It kind of reminds me of Larva in ZVZ or in any other matchup where even if he loses this expansion, he's already used that energy on the mules and can kind of fall back at this expansion. So losing all the SCVs there, that's okay, because I don't know how that's comparable to Larva now that I think about it, but he's got to be okay if he loses that at this point because he's in pretty good shape, as he does have the 2-2 now on the way, +1 mech. And just look at how much stuff is on the production tab here for both players. Stim gonna finish for Sting here, but you gotta remember Beastyqt with that combat shields is also gonna have his own Stim as well.
Oh gosh, the 4th base going up for Beastyqt. I mean, this is just insane. This could go very badly for Beastyqt unless he retreats, but Sting without that combat shield is just so leery to stim that it almost kills all your Marines immediately.
And no medevacs either.
Yeah, we also see the double factory in production for Beastyqt, so he's going to try to be catching up on the tank count. That was the only aspect in which Beastyqt could possibly have been behind, but right now, everything is very much so in the Green Terran's control.
Yeah, I mean, getting that third base up now, so even if this does get scouted by Sting, he's going to still not realize that there's going to be a hidden base down there. He does have a ridiculous amount of Marines, which, if positioned correctly, can actually be absurdly cost-effective. I mean, I've seen Tasia do some pretty crazy stuff. A drop on the right side gets killed. That's going to be good news for Sting, because we already knew he was behind. He's got to be careful. Another drop at the bottom center is going to get held off as well. So Sting doing everything he needs to get a little bit of momentum back. It's going to be hard for him to actually pull ahead because, again, of that hidden third base here. But able to hold off those drops means that he's still got a chance in this game. He's going to have combat shields here relatively soon. But the problem is going to be that 2-2 finishing up before any next engagement happens.
But now it looks like Beastyqt has not yet seized control of the center of the map. He's just now starting to ramp up that tank production count. Starting to clear out in the middle. And if we look at the unit count, it's very even, 66 to 61. Sting actually ahead in the Marine count, but gosh, when that 2-2's done, it looks like 3-3 just starting out for Beastyqt. This is his time to strike. And as long as Beastyqt gets on a decent angle, he will destroy Sting's force.
Yeah, he does have momentum going into this fight, but it is going to come down to the splitting of Sting. Definitely don't count him out yet. I've seen some crazy splits in these situations to get a player back in the game, but it does look like Empire.Beastyqt is just going to be backing up right now, waiting for more reinforcements. His medevac cloud starting to grow just a little bit, starting to look a bit overcast, as it is 7 medevacs to 4, and he could start mixing in a couple of Vikings here as well. And need to be careful, though. The angle's got to be perfect. There's the stem to chase it down, slowly picking away at these units. Where are the siege tanks, though? They're way behind. They were sieged up here, and it looks like Sting, can he actually hold off here? He's swinging around on the right side, trying to run him into the meat grinder there, but the siege tanks just were not there in that battle, and was not able to win just yet, but has done a massive amount of damage and is still further and further in the lead.
Yeah, that 2-2 upgrade just helps so much. Sting equalizing things a little bit, finishing his just +2 attack, but there's a 3-3 timing coming up for Beastyqt, and even before that, now he's swinging his tanks over to the right side. He's going to begin chewing away, and oh god, if he gets the engineering phase, that will be devastating, and there's a nice big tank blast ripping apart that back line of Marines, and suddenly Beastyqt is up at the front rally point of Sting's main.
Gets the siege tank rise response as well, but kills off the engineering base first. Needs to back up these units so far. The control from Beastyqt has been pretty darn good. Is he going to be able to march up here? Is he going to be able to end this game? I don't know. He doesn't have a lot of units down here just yet. You can see a massive army back at home for Beastyqt, but is putting on the pressure, and especially killing the factory plus engineering base. That's going to put him further and further ahead, especially since +3 is nearly done, but we do have 12 Marines on the way at the same time for Sting. So even though he's got a light contained setup, both players will be maxed out. Sting may go for it here, and Beastyqt needs to be careful with this army. It's not totally sacrificial just yet, although it's getting pretty close where he can afford to get rid of it. But here comes the reinforcements.
Oh gosh, another huge army. And with that 3-3 about to finish, I mean, there is just not that much that Sting can do. Did +2 attack even finish for Sting? Ooh, wow, that did. So here's the attempt for Sting to move down onto the low ground. All his units are clustered up, and there's Beastyqt darting down to the bottom side. Sting felt like he got a little bit of fresh air, but no, his third base is going to fall. Amazing repositioning by Beastyqt, who is loving these long-term macro games. And there's Sting, trying to hit from all sides with unsieged, unstemmed, and regular SCVs, but it ain't enough. Beastyqt rips that attack apart.
And there we go. Sting does end up leaving the game, and they just told me that there was